Hello, SpongeX here with more footage from SoulCalibur VI. This time I thought I'd do something a little differently. Instead of showing off the characters I made, I thought I would show off some of the characters I found that others have uploaded on the community. So up first we have Lara Croft from Tomb Raider.
So, you want to fight? You say so.
Versus my Rosalina character.
Battle 1. Fight!
I've honestly never played a Tomb Raider game, but I know they're very popular, and I know the reboots were pretty good, actually. I just know the movies could have been better. I don't know, I'm just not a really huge fan of like these realistic action-packed games, you know. I'm more of a fantasy fan. But I will admit there is one live-action game, well, not live-action, but game that goes a more realistic-looking approach. It would have to be The Last of Us. There's something about that one that just got my attention, but for most others, I just really don't care. I mean, like SoulCalibur, the games always start off kind of cartoony looking, and I will admit, I don't mind its transition to a more realistic art style. I think it works well for this series, but I always, and these still have a lot of fantasy elements to it. I just get really bored with games that look, you know, games that look too much like a movie or real life. I like playing video games where you see stuff you definitely wouldn't see in real life. Right now we have Spider-Man. I'll admit Taki's moveset was a good choice for this character. Fits a lot of the poses he makes.
I can't run away.
My mission is what matters.
And versus Grow.
Battle 1. Fight!
I hope that upcoming Into the Spider-Verse movie will be good. I still have not played the new Spider-Man video game, but I'm glad to hear it was really good.
Stand. Fight to your last breath. Battle 2. Fight!
Come on! Come on!
That was easy.
Come on!
The battle is over. Show respect for the fallen who fought so bravely.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man did a great job at kicking your can. And now we have Coco from Rosario plus Vampire. And, I can't believe I actually know about that series, but for those of you who don't know, it's a very perverted anime. I stumbled across it on Hulu once, and you know, sometimes I just like to click on shows that I've never heard of and give it a few shots to see if it's any good or not. I just remember, like, right away, I was just laughing at how ridiculous this show was. I mean, it's so wrong, but at the same time, it's so funny, and I loved, like, how there's, like, this little bat character who always broke the fourth wall, and he'd always say, like, "wee" after everything, and in Season 2 it was revealed that, the bat was actually, like, more than just the narrator. He is actually, a sidekick for a character we haven't even seen yet, because, they introduced a new little side villain in the second series who turned out to be the little sister of one of the main characters, and so yeah, that's who I'm playing as right now, Coco. I just remember, like, seeing this model online. I mostly got it just for that bat. I thought it was so funny how they recreated the bat character out of just a heart, 2 horns, and bat wings. And I thought that was really creative. With that being said, Rosario plus Vampire is definitely not for those who are easily offended But for those who just want like a series that's ridiculous and full of laughs, I would recommend it, but I definitely wouldn't watch it with friends. I'd make sure no one's around when watching it. Trust me, you'll thank me for that later.
Final battle. Fight.
Astrop's moveset works pretty well for this character. She always fought with oversized weapons, like whether it was a hammer or a spiked club, and sometimes even the bat was a weapon. She could turn that bat into a weapon. It's crazy. Like, if people thought Kill la Kill was a bizarre anime, they've never seen Rosario plus Vampire. That show's even more messed up. Now we have Kratos from God of War. Boy! I'll admit, I've honestly never played a God of War game. I wouldn't mind, though, but, you know, video games are just so expensive nowadays, and you can't really afford buying them all. It was just a series I never really got interested in, but I did hear the new one was really good, though, and I did get a laugh out of all the memes of it. So many people making memes of him saying, boring! So we have the God of War versus Elsa from Frozen.
Stand. Fight to your last breath. Battle 2. Fight.
I wouldn't be surprised if the PlayStation 4 version of this game eventually got exclusive DLC for Kratos to return. Because it is kind of unfair how we didn't properly get Kratos in an official SoulCalibur game. He was a guest character in a PSP spin-off, but we haven't seen him in a home console SoulCalibur yet. And with the new one that came out, it would give him an opportunity to give him a slightly different moveset than the one we saw before. Up now we have Dr. Eggman. Funny though, because I already made Dr. Eggman, but I'll admit this model is much better than the one I made. And it's got a different moveset too. The one I picked out had Volda's moveset, but this one has Aswell's moveset. Makes it bizarre. Making it look like Dr. Eggman is some kind of all-powerful being who can summon weapons at will. It's crazy. He picked the same voice, well, not he, sorry, but whoever made this model picked the same voice I did for my Eggman model. It sounds so much like Mike Pollock. It's just such a fitting voice to give a custom character based off Eggman. I didn't download it, but I did notice someone else made a Dr. Ivo Robotnik model inspired by the design from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. And I remember laughing when I saw that, but I just figured, man, I already got an Eggman model, and I already made my own Eggman model as well, so, you know, I figured I'd just save the slot for someone else. I am glad that the custom models do have their own separate slots. You know, you have 100 slots for the characters you can make, but then 100 slots for the characters you download. And I really think that's a great idea, because that would really suck if you had to split them between, you know, if you had to split 100 slots between your own creations and the ones you find online. And now we have Amethyst from Steven Universe with Ivy's moveset. And I gotta admit, that's a good match. I really do like this. It really does kind of look like a humanized version of Amethyst, what she'd look like in real life. And Ivy's whip sword really makes a good weapon for this character. Versus Inferno.
Battle 1. Fight.
I haven't come across them online, but I do know some people have already made, like, Steven Universe and Garnet from this show. And those looked pretty funny, but I'd say they didn't look as good as this Amethyst model, though. This looks more in character than those other models did.
Claim victory and bask in the glory.
Maybe said life was easy.
Soul of Shannon.
I just laughed so hard when I first saw this. I just had to download it as soon as I saw that hair. It's like, oh my god. There's a reason why Simpson characters should stay as cartoons.
Okay, let's get this
Oh, that
started.
voice just does not match her at all. Versus Geralt from The Witcher. Oh boy. Such a random crossover.
Stand. Fight to your last breath.
Battle 2. Gotta admit.
Fight.
Da 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 da.
Claim
Da 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 da
victory
da.
and bask in the glory.
Did you like it? What? Was I too gorgeous for you?
Actually, I'm more horrified by how you look, but
Soul of Aswell.
oh hell no! I am not playing as that. I am not giving that character a chance to win. I will gladly pick a character to kick his ass, though. Hatsune Miku. Oh, this is such a random matchup.
Soul of Calibur. Soul of Aswell.
I love how whoever made that tried making him look, well, I would say evil, but I'll just say more evil than he is. I mean, even his portrait shows like a bunch of flames in the background. Giving him Oswald's moveset and evil laugh. Oh, that's funny.
Let's get this started.
Show me what you've got.
Oh, this is too funny. For how hard it is for middle class folk, you have no idea how much I wish I could do this. But Now just to be clear, I respect America and I have faith in it, but this man does not care for America, and so it is hard for me to respect a man who doesn't respect his own country
It must be seized.
or the people in it.
Fight.
Did you like it?
Whoa! Okay, that felt good. Hatsune Miku, everybody. A real American...
Was I too
Wait.
gorgeous for you?
A real Japanese... Nah, screw it. A real hero. And now we have Jet from Final Fantasy X. Tidus's douchebag of a father. Whoever did this did a really good job at recreating that character. Final Fantasy X, that was the only Final Fantasy game I ever played all the way through, and it's definitely my favorite one in the series.
Let's do this.
I've played many Final Fantasy games. I've played, okay, not many, but a few. I've played Final Fantasy 3, I've played Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 10, part of 10-2, 12, 13, and part of 15. And out of all of them, 10 was the only one that I actually wanted to beat. I got bored with a lot of the other ones, or found, I mean, I really wanted to get through Final Fantasy VII because I know it's such a beloved game, but I couldn't even see where I was going in that game because there was some, you know, the camera was always so far out, and the artwork for the game wasn't very crystal clear at times. There were times where I couldn't even find my character on the background during like the parts where the background were just, you know, hand-painted drawings. And so I just lost interest in the game. There came points where I was just wandering around endlessly and I couldn't figure out what to do next, and so I just stopped. But I am looking forward to the remake, as long as the rumors don't turn out to be true that it'll be split into multiple parts. I want it to be one game. I do not want it to be split between microtransactions or to be continued episodic, you know, gameplay segments. So many companies think they can get away with that. It's a ripoff. I'm probably going to have to delete this character soon. There's no need for it, since 2B was announced to be playable eventually. So we got 2B versus Silver the Hedgehog. I remember as soon as I saw like there was a blindfold item, the customization, I remember thinking, oh boy, a lot of people are probably going to make 2B from Nier Automata. Is it Nier Automata or Nier Automata? I'm not sure. I always called it Nier Automata. Makes you wonder if there are going to be any other guest characters in SoulCalibur VI, and if so, who would they be? Because I'll admit this one caught me by surprise. It just seems so crazy to have a character so far from the future. So I'll admit, as bizarre as Star Wars was as a guest appearance in SoulCalibur IV, it was still fun to see those characters in there. And to be fair, Star Wars technically does take place in the past, but in a galaxy far, far away. And so, considering how SoulCalibur takes place in the past, and Star Wars takes place in an alternate distant past, it kind of makes sense that they mix them together, but at the same time, it just makes you wonder, why though? Out of all the franchises, why this? Now we have Bayonetta in her Bayonetta 2 design. I just beat Bayonetta 2 for the first time a few months ago, and that was a fun game. I feel so stupid though. I originally bought the game for Wii U, but I never really got far into it. I played more through Bayonetta 1, but eventually decided to rebuy the game on Switch, and so I finally got a chance to play through Bayonetta 2 all the way. And yeah, it was a fun sequel. I did really like it. Can't say the story was that great though. It mostly felt like a rehash of the first game, but the gameplay was still really solid. So we have Bayonetta versus Barry from Conker's Bad Fur Day. What a random matchup. That voice just does not match Bayonetta at all. Way too high pitch. I think Barry's voice turned out okay though.
Victory goes to the last one standing.
A little too high pitched, but at least it matches her character better. I just realized I'm fighting with two characters who have a moon crest on their shirt Well, technically, berries is supposed to be a C. Maybe it stands for conquer. I never understood why she wore a C on her shirt. I could only guess it stood for conquer, but obviously I couldn't use the letter C, so I just used a moon shape out of the stamp tools, and I painted it yellow to kind of recreate Barry's C on her shirt. And so, Bayonetta, she has like the sign of the Umbran Witch on her outfit, and so it looks like whoever made that model put it on.
Was I too gorgeous for you?
I should have did the same thing with my Knuckles the Echidna model. I should have took a moon and made it the shape of that upside down crest he has on his chest. But I'm gonna have to go back and edit that model sometime to do that.
Soul of unknown soul.
And now we have Pyrrha from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on Nintendo Switch. I was given that game last Christmas, and it was a mixed game for me. It was okay. I mostly loved it for the music, but I thought the graphics could have been a lot better, and the story was all over the place. There were parts I really liked in the story, but in the end I thought it dragged on too long and didn't really go anywhere too interesting. I did kind of like the bittersweet ending though, but Pyrrha, she was definitely a very memorable character though. A lot of people are wanting to see her and Rex in Super Smash Bros., but I honestly doubt we'll ever see that. But Pyrrha, she just had, I don't know, like, her outfit was a little too revealing. I mean, yeah, the same could be said about Bayonetta, but Bayonetta was still mostly covered. She was mostly partially nude when she attacked, like, did, like, great summon attacks, but apparently they were able to censor that or work around that in Super Smash Bros., but you know, they're still able to keep Bayonetta's design, they just reduced the partial nudity when she attacks. And so, for Pyrrha, though, she's more revealing all the time, and so, I'll admit, though, she's a little more revealing in this game, though. I mean, she definitely had more shorts on in the other game, but, I still thought the model turned out really well, though. It really does remind me of Pyrrha. Having her with Soul Edge is really fitting, because it kind of looks like the sword that Rex had that came with Pyrrha. Deadpool. Whoever did this did a really good job. Here I was expecting it was probably going to be Taki's moveset, but it's Geralt's. Yeah, it still works somehow. Yeah, this works perfectly. This really does feel like Deadpool is in SoulCalibur. Minus the dirty language. But.
This'll be easy.
Trust me.
Deadpool versus Elsa, that's just brilliant. I've seen like some funny artwork of, you know, Deadpool dressed as Elsa, so this is just perfect. And isn't it crazy? I think Disney owns both of these characters now. Okay, it's not shocking that they own Elsa, but the fact that Elsa is owned by the same company as the person who bought out Deadpool, that's just hilarious. Makes you wonder what Disney's going to do with the character now that they own Fox as well. Yeah, I saw Deadpool 2 earlier this year. I even bought it on Blu-ray, and that was a pretty good sequel. I wouldn't say it was as good as the first, but it was probably funnier than the first, and it definitely had one of the funniest end credit scenes I've ever seen in a movie. The theater was just laughing so hard at that ending, and that was a really fun theater to be at. Just being in there and seeing people react to that end credit scene. Mickey Mouse. Oh, that looks so weird. I remember seeing pictures online as well. Someone created a Minnie Mouse named Goofy. Those looked hilarious. I just lost it when I saw that Goofy one. But I'm not surprised to see no one's attempted to make Donald Duck yet. That'd be really hard to do, I can imagine.
It's a fight you'll get.
Mickey versus Maxie. And no, not Goofy's Maxie. Speaking of which, I would love to see Max appear in a Kingdom Hearts game. As long as it's the Goofy movie version of him and not the Goof Troop version of him. I never really cared for Goof Troop. I thought, well, it's like as a kid I remembered liking it, but looking back on it, it's like, God, this show's boring, it's kind of annoying, and I love a Goofy movie, though. That's such a great movie. I love what they did with Max. They actually made him feel like a realistic character. Because I remember, like, watching Goof Troop, and it's like, shouldn't Max be embarrassed by this guy? The fact that this is his dad, it's Goofy, and you see a Goofy movie, and it shows, like, a realistic version of him growing up and being, you know, dead embarrassed by his own father, and I actually, you know, rewatched that movie recently. I haven't seen that movie in years, and when I last saw it, I was too young to really remember a whole lot from the movie. Like, there were a few scenes I remember, but I didn't understand them, per se. I just remembered enjoying the movie as a kid. So, here I am, you know, so many years later, and I decided to watch it, and, I honestly teared up. I mean, it's a really good father-son movie. I even told my dad about it because he's never seen that movie. My dad's not much of an animation fan either, but I told him, you know, like, this movie reminded me of you and I, and, you know, it reminds me of how much I've grown to appreciate you over the years. You know, I know we've had hard times hard times when I was a kid. I know I was a jerk as a kid, but, you know, we've gone past all that stuff, and so, I got my dad to watch the movie with me, and he loved it. He thought it was a really good movie. He thought it was emotional, he thought it was funny, and so that really meant a lot to me. Yeah. So, right now we got Spawn versus Princess Peach. Spawn was such a weird choice, and it's funny how they picked him just because there really weren't no Xbox exclusive characters at the time of when SoulCalibur II was being made, but they wanted it to have a console exclusive character. And since, if I recall, there was something where, like, the creator of Spawn, Todd McFarlane, he helped out with, like, the toy line deal for some SoulCalibur II merchandise, and to thank him for doing that, they wanted him to put a character that he created into the game, and he chose Spawn. And he even had part in creating Necrid, which is why Necrid hasn't really reappeared in any SoulCalibur game, because Todd McFarlane has part of the rights to it, and that's a shame too, because I always loved Necrid. He was one of my favorite characters to play as in SoulCalibur 2. Right now we have Midna in her Twilight form from The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. Midna was always my favorite Zelda character. There's just been no Zelda character that ever left an impact as much as Midna has. I mean, Midna was a character you knew nothing about, but she just had so much personality, and she grew so much in the game. You just did not know where the story was going to go, and it had one of the, you know, saddest departures of a character in Zelda history. Like, you know, I'll admit, like, for The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, the parting with the character Fi was pretty sad, but at the same time, it's like, this character didn't leave an impact, though, so this ending would have been more sad if she was actually an interesting character to begin with. And so that's why, like, Midna's goodbye was more heartbreaking, because, you know, we saw, like, this character evolve. She started off as a manipulative character who wanted nothing to do with saving the world. She just wanted to get back to her own realm in her own form, but, you know, through Zelda and Link's determination and sacrifices, she learns, you know, she shouldn't let Link's world go into turmoil. She should stay behind and help him fight, you know, and I just loved everything about Midna. She was such a great character. The Zelda series just hasn't had a character like her since. It was great to see her back in Hyrule Warriors, even if it was just a spin-off.
The battle is over. Show respect for the fallen who fought so bravely.
I like your passion. Let's play again sometime.
Now it's Rolf from Ed, Edd and Eddy. I laughed so hard when I saw this. You dare mess with the son of a shepherd? The hammer of discipline. Do you live in a cave? That's my horse. Oh, brother.
A history of conflict.
This'll be easy.
That voice does not fit him at all. Versus Valdo.
Battle 1. Fight.
That's my horse. I remember seeing someone even created Ed in this game, and it turned out pretty funny looking. I hate it when you find, you know, these funny pictures of characters online, but then it's like you wish you could stumble upon them while loading up SoulCalibur VI, but you can't because not only does it only allow you to upload one character at a time per person, but it's so limited and you can't properly search through these characters. You just gotta keep randomly scrolling until it loops all the way around, and it takes forever. And we better get an update soon. We need to get an update that adds a proper community for these online characters. Whether, you know, one that allows us to look through the thumbnails instead of having to load them all one at a time, taking forever and ever. So hopefully Bandai Namco can sort that out. And finally we have Bane from Batman The Dark Knight Rises. Gotta say, whoever did this did a good job at recreating him, even voice-wise. He has that distorted voice that matches like that weird voice boxing.
Bring it on.
Versus Riku from Kingdom Hearts. What a matchup.
Battle 1. Fight.
I don't think you'll be seeing him breaking Riku's spine, though, like he did Batman's. And unlike that movie, we won't see Bane having a ridiculous cop-out death. Well, not cop-out, but, okay, a lame defeat, let's just say that. As good as The Dark Knight Rises was, I hated the ending where it revealed that Bane wasn't the real villain of the movie, and then who it was, that was stupid. I really am getting sick of movies having twist villains. I mean, it was surprising at first, but now it's just becoming repetitive. I'd rather just get more movies where you have an upfront villain who stays as threatening as he first appeared.
The battle is over. Show respect.
Having them upstaged by a true villain just makes the villain you watch throughout the movie just seem weak in the end. Well, that's all I got to show for now. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.